Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and while I'm working on an iceberg video right now, my doctor told me that I have to pretty much tell you that I have an addiction, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the last time I had an addiction, it was playing Rainbow Six Siege. Now, while I still play Rainbow Six Siege, I'm not too addicted. I don't snort Adderall, okay, so I can't be as good as every other player in Quick Match. And with everybody running out, I realized I'm not going to play Call of Duty anymore. So I stopped playing as much. I still do it from time to time, but now I have a missing void. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a 2-year-long process of discovery and self-reflection. I realized, Muta, I must play a new MMO RPG. Now, massively multiplayer online RPGs, ladies and gentlemen, are a time sink. And the last big MMO that I played was Grand Theft Auto Online. But if Rockstar doesn't care about security, why should I? Last time I signed on to GT Online, a random player literally prevented me and my friend from finishing a heist. So we literally sat there with our cocks in our hand doing nothing. So I realized, all right, this MMO's done. Now is the process to find a massively multiplayer online RPG. So I'm going to run you through the gamut of all the ones that I tried. Number one, World of Warcraft. All right, listen, WoW is something that I used to play, but I can't do WoW anymore, okay? It's not the fact that the game is old, the visuals or anything. I'm just not feeling the vibe of its storyline or anything of the sort. I usually play these games to quest and get immersed in a story. With WoW, it feels like I'm honestly playing Destiny or Division again, doing dailies, finding a group of people. Even the activity of grinding money and playing the auction house wasn't actually exciting to me anymore. So I realized WoW is done for me. I can't get into it anymore. So that's World of Warcraft. Now, I've also seen Elder Scrolls Online, but I don't play much Elder Scrolls to begin with, so that was crossed off. I even tried RuneScape for a bit, which, listen, I can't play new RuneScape and I can't play old RuneScape, alright? I'm kind of done with all of it. If I'm gonna play a game, it has to be something that's not resembling anything from 1995. Now, moving on further, I tried playing other games like EVE Online. I figured, hey, I have a degree. I have intelligence, I would say. I can change my clothes. I remember how to breathe every once in a while. I tried playing EVE Online and woohoo! That learning curve, babies. That learning curve is insane. Now, there are plenty of videos to get you started on EVE Online, all right? But at that point, why are you not just playing Elite Dangerous, bucko? All right, that game is arguably, in my opinion, a lot better. But moving on, I realized I tapped into my inner soul. Remember, this is a story about self-reflection and journey. I was like, shit, motherfucker, I enjoy Final Fantasy. Recently, I've been playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, I'm going to be playing through it again today. And then I've been playing the original Final Fantasy VII. You know, the ones where, the one with the 3 discs and the wild bosses and Vincent and Yuffie. I've been enjoying that time, dude. I've been having a good time. And Final Fantasy is one of those franchises that when I was growing up, it is the best. Like, if there was any game franchise that I had to pick as my, like, last, game to play, or like, like the last meal you get a death row, like, hey buddy, last game from a game franchise, dude, I would pick something out of Final Fantasy 9 times out of 10, all right? Whether it be FF7, FF10, FF6, FF4, FF12, shit, I'd even play FF13 again, and I'm a masochist. But ladies and gentlemen, I realized, wow, there have been 2 MMOs that Final Fantasy has released. Now, there is Final Fantasy XI, which I never got to really play because I was a kid back then, and the price of entry was basically a left testicle. Not going to be able to get in. But it was impressive what they did with the PS2. Now, Final Fantasy XIV was a game that I have bought 3 times. Once on the PlayStation 4, because it was on sale, and I was like, shit, I'll give it a try. Once on Steam, and I realized that was a terrible place to own the game. And then one just recently where I said, you know what? I'm going to buy the game and all of its expansions, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. Now, I have a character, Sally Forrester, a level 46 white mage as of now, that currently is a healer. Now, I've been playing this game, and the story has interested me. It's a game with a visual update. It's a game that actually came out once with a it came out once looking like Anthem, looking like, a terrible version of Cyberpunk 2077. It was a game with some problems. If you ever remember the history of Final Fantasy XIV, it used to be a game that was just universally panned. People were not having a good time. There were some diehard cultists to it, absolutely. But then again, there are diehard cultists for dog shit as well, too. So when it came out, it got a bad reception, Square Enix shut it down, and then finally, they revived it. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. And it actually looks pretty good, runs really well, and it satiates my need for an addictive time sink. Now, I've been playing the healer class, as my brother would call it, and it's a class where I think the best description of it is, it's not much, but it's honest work, all right, is what it is. So basically, I've been running around healing my team. Now, of course, like most RPGs, you have the choice. You can be a DPS, which is 99% of this game's player fucking population. You can be a tank, which is basically, yeah, I'll just sit there and let the enemy wail on me while I read a BuzzFeed article. And then you've got a healer, which is basically being the cuckold supporter of the tank. But you actually have to put some work into it. Believe it or not, I was playing the game, and I died a few times in the dungeons, because coincidentally, I had a documentary I was watching, and I figured, shit, I might heal my team every once in a while. But this led me to something that has made me even more addictive, which is a healthy, beautiful community. Even though that I caused fuck-ups, even though that I caused the failure of my team's dungeon and issues and instances, you know what the community said? It's all good, player. Here's how you play the game. They were giving me tips. They were the nicest players. Sorry. That's the that's the evil siege energy leaving me. That's the toxicity going away. It reminds me of year 2 Rainbow Six Siege when I first started playing that game, and every single person in the voice chat was saying, "Hey, don't worry, buddy. It's all good. You know, here's how you play the game. Here's some tips." Nowadays, everybody on Siege, from my experiences, yells at me and calls me Aladdin for some reason. I guess it's a racist thing. But looking into FF14 online, and before anybody's like, Moody, you sponsored? Look, I'd have to declare that at the beginning of the video, so I'm not going to legally fuck myself. But I will say, all right, I have dumped my time and my money into it, and because I'm playing this game, not because I'm doing it for a video or I'm doing it here and there consciously, but it's a game that I'm actively firing up, I'm starting to really get into MMOs once again. MMOs, to me, are places where back in the day I would sign into because working a lot and developing friendships is something that you're not really able to do. And this might sound unhealthy, but some of the best players and some of the best experiences and the best communities I've ever found were built through MMOs. I never ran like a mega guild or anything of the sort. I always usually met 10 to 15 other people that were always super nice, super cool individuals. And honestly, I'm beginning to get that same vibe with Final Fantasy XIV Online, where I'm finding other players to quest around with, do instances with, and it's actually a really, really welcoming, wholesome experience. And I feel like if there's anybody out there that hasn't experienced that level of camaraderie and people coming together in a video game, you're actually missing out. That's one of the greatest feelings of video games. Honestly, it's the only feeling that an MMO can deliver, and you'll never be able to find it elsewhere. But going back to those games' gameplay, I've actually realized that yes, without a doubt, this is just World of Warcraft, roughly on a gameplay term, evolved. Now again, I haven't reached endgame yet, and when I get to endgame, that's when these MMOs truly quote-unquote begin. But I'm sure by the end game, I'm going to be like a super sage of this game, and I'm going to be able to like write it down to like no end tomorrow. So when that time comes, I'll probably do an extra follow-up video. But as far as the gameplay goes, there's so many character classes to actually pick from that it's fucking insane. And I've tried almost all of them. I played some of Tank, I played a bit of Arcanist, which is sort of like a mage DPS character, but again, when my friends started playing with me, we needed a healer. So guess what cuckold became the healer? This guy right here! So I ended up becoming a healer, and quite honestly, it's the first time I've truly played a healer class, a support class in an MMO, and I feel like the bedrock foundation to a good party structure, and so I've really been enjoying it. It's not as easy as you think. Look, I gotta be able to manage these bars and these bars. I gotta be able to heal my team and do the occasional bit of damage every once in a while, okay? It's not as easy as it looks. But coupled with a great community and easy to pick up game mechanics, I've actually been really hooked into Final Fantasy XIV Online. And maybe this might be the next game that I'm addicted to and I simp for the next 3 years until the community base grows so large and toxic that I move on to the next big game. But for now, I feel like I've struck gold and I'm actually feeling more positive when I'm gaming. And at this point, at this age, when I don't have too much time to game anyways, it's mostly single player games. And if I do hit the multiplayer gamut, it's gonna be games that are positive, that make my dick hard, okay, and actually have some decent gameplay, all right, from an MMO perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, that being said, if you ever wanted to pick up an MMO, go to FF14 Online. I've realized in my comment section there's a few people who blew their loads when I mentioned this, so I wanted to make this video to really sort of drive home the point on what's getting me off. So ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.